Hey everyone, this is Visual Novel Gamer, and today we'll be looking at Muv Luv Alternative Chronicles 1. Man, that's a mouthful. For those unfamiliar with Muv Luv, it's a trilogy of visual novels, with the first part being awful, the second part being pretty good, and the third part being the greatest thing ever. The plot starting off something like a cheesy harem novel and quickly escalating into a full-on sci-fi epic that many consider the peak of visual novels. I would review them, but I'd really rather not depress myself at the moment, so instead we're going to take a look at this little thing. For starters, let me say right off the bat that this video will be shorter than my other ones because there really isn't a lot to talk about here. Chronicles is a bundle of spin-off Muv Luv stuff too short to be packaged individually anywhere else, and this includes stuff like interviews, wallpapers, really hard-as-hell strategy game I couldn't understand, and most importantly, 3 small side stories set in the Muv Luv universe that exist purely for world building and giving us all more Muv to love. The first of these mini visual novels is The Day After, a story set in a world after the events of Muv Luv Unlimited. Those who have read that will know exactly what that means, and if not, go read Muv Luv and come back, you poor deprived soul. Luckily, aside from the setting, The Day After has next to nothing to do with Unlimited, so you really needn't worry about it spoiling the rest of Muv Luv for you if you're curious. The story is a simple one. Our main character Will is a marine tech pilot stationed on a United States battle carrier that is marooned in the middle of the ocean when one day he and his commander Daryl find a random survivor from another carrier that sank called Lilia. Together with Lilia and Daryl, Will continues to work towards contacting the outside world to come save their ship. If it sounds like I'm being vague, it's because I am. This is the frustrating thing about Muv Luv. People tell you it's the greatest thing to ever exist ever, but you can't tell them why because spoiling even one thing about it ruins the whole experience for them. But take my word for it, if you're looking for a bit more of Muv Luv, specifically Muv Luv Alternative and Unlimited, this is exactly what you'd want. If you're curious about Muv Luv and want to take a peek without full-on spoiling yourself or dedicating 50 hours to reading, this might work too, though I would definitely recommend reading the original trilogy before this. That's not to say it's perfect though. It kinda drags early on and expects you to care about the characters you've only just met, but once the ball gets rolling it's the same roller coaster of drama, philosophy, action, and suffering that we all know and love. It's a solid few hours of reading if nothing else, and ended with me eager to read the next Day After story. Next up we have the other 2 stories called Rain Dancers and Chicken Divers. Funny names aside, they're pretty solid if not really short stories. They're just really a couple glances into some of the military stuff that's been going on in the Muv Luv world. Nothing to really say about them though, they're both really short. You can read both of them in about an hour. They're just a couple more small stories to enjoy. All in all, Muv Luv Alternative Chronicles 1 was a pretty solid read. In a world where I'm left constantly yearning for more Muv Luv, this was a pleasant surprise that left me wanting more. Aside from that, there really isn't much for me to say. It carries over a lot of assets from Alternative, so we have great music and visuals. Nothing quite on par with the main games of course, but for a spin-off they're top notch. There's nothing particularly wrong with these things aside from the pacing bit I mentioned before. All the characters are well written and likable, and each story lasts just long enough not to overstay its welcome. It's a nice, if not slow, to start read that kept me busy for a couple days. A definite recommendation to anyone who might be interested in it. And that's all for today. As always, feedback and comments are all appreciated. That being said, see you guys later. This is Visual Novel Gamer signing off.